So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harp.
My name is Justin Roberts. For 3 years, I was assigned as chaplain to the 2nd 327th Infantry Battalion, also known as No Slack. I wanted to recount the deployment to Afghanistan, so I decided to carry a camera.
Where's it coming from? Somewhere behind us that way. I don't know if it's on the ridge or if it's from the corner.
But it wasn't the photos and it wasn't the video that changed my life. It was understanding the stories behind them.
We were going into 2 known enemy strongholds. No one had ever dared go up there.
The Russians hadn't even been up there.
I hear this crack. And then I hear Sergeant Arena yell,
RPG!
At the time, we didn't realize that we were headed to our biggest fight since Vietnam.
Hey, we need suppression on this ridge line! I've never heard so much gunfire in my entire life. And we have been in a lot of firefights, but that was by far the worst.
there was multiple positions firing on us.
I had to make peace with the fact that I was gonna die.
The casualties just started adding up.
We had 1 WIA and 1 KIA.
I brought him over here. I'll bring him back.
He's just looking straight up. He says, "Where's my chariot?"
And with his last dying breath, he apologizes for not being able to fight anymore.
I understood America so much more on the mountaintops of Afghanistan. What we stand for. People coming from all types of backgrounds, all types of races and religions, coming together as brothers and sisters. I witnessed that.
Okay, hey everybody. Wow, is that an amazing trailer or what? You know, I saw that earlier and I totally cried, and I'm like trying not to cry right now, just so you know. But you know what? It has to be told. This story has to be told. And you know what? I am really, really super grateful that you guys have come in for this, because I have the director of this film on tonight. This is actually kind of cool. This guy, poor guy, he's been traveling all over the place, and he's here. Anyway, let's just say that. Yeah, but before we bring him on, let me welcome all you guys in the chat room. Thank you guys for coming in. I'm not going to shout you out by name like I usually do, because we only have a half hour with our guest. But you know what? If you're a patriot, you love America and our veterans, then do me a favor and share this out. Okay? Because Veterans Day is coming up in a couple of days. Interestingly, it actually was one of my stepfather's birthdays on November 11th. And this film is being released November 10th in theaters. And so I want you to meet the director and the writer of the film, Justin Roberts. He is a retired Army chaplain. And I'm not going to say anything else because the trailer actually said a little bit, but we'll let him speak for himself. So, Justin, welcome to the show. Hi. Hey, you know, it kind of feels like I know you really well. I don't know why, but it just feels that way. Anyway, I want to welcome you to the show. And thank you for doing what you did. And I would love it if you could give us a little bit of a background about what you did, because this is an amazing thing that you did.
Yeah, this is kind of that's a big story to try to explain. So I'm going to try to explain it as quickly as I can.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of backstory to this. So the unit that's featured in this film My second day on the job with them, we had a soldier take his life. And then a week later, we had another one. And then a couple months after that, we had another one, and then another one. And we also had weekly suicide attempts or gestures every single week for the first 6 months. So in 2009, this was the most suicidal battalion, if one of the most suicidal battalions in the military. Now, we were able to turn it around, but what we had to focus on was relationships. We had to connect. Otherwise, people could or would take their lives. And so the only thing that really interjected into making a difference in these people's lives was us connecting on a human level and being friends. And so when I was approaching the deployment, I asked one of my mentors how I should go about it. And he said, Chappie, what you need to do is you need to go out with each platoon at least once on patrol and be near the front during major operations to do your chaplain stuff. And he's like, if you want to connect. And for us at the time, connecting wasn't an optional thing or a nice thing. It was mission critical to saving lives. So that became my mission, to go out with each platoon at least once and be to me near the front during major operations. And since chaplains can't carry weapons, I asked my commander at the time if I could carry a camera, and he said, sure, just don't get shot. And I'm like, roger that. And so I had that mission to go out with each unit, and I had that camera. And what happened was that I started coming across some of the most amazing stories I ever heard in my life. I mean, and these were my friends who were doing these courageous, valorous things. And so that's how this film came about, was being in the right place at the right time and happening to have a camera.
Yeah. Isn't that, to me, that's a amazing thing. And I loved in the trailer where you talked about how it's the story behind the pictures that really is the interesting thing. One of my favorite songs is called Storyteller. It's by Morgan Harper Nichols. Have you ever heard it?
No.
I'll have to send it to you so you can listen to it, because it's that very thing. She talks about being a storyteller, how we all have a story. And yet a lot of the civilian world doesn't understand what happens to the veterans when they're out there, or, and then they come back. And, before the show, we were talking about the suicide rate, that happened. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I know, bareface. I had to look down at my paper so I could look at the note. Okay. just so you know. So yeah, this is, let me just read this so people can hear this. Okay. So every day, 20 veterans commit suicide. 20% of veterans suffer from PTSD. And let's see here, of incarcerated adults, 10% served previously in the military, which that's interesting. I did not know that. And among the U.S. homeless, 12% are veterans. So those are stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's, the difficult thing is that, I mean, these are people who have experienced trauma, but they did so on our behalf. The irony of war is that many of our troops are fighting for our homes. They're fighting for our families, and they're fighting for our lives. But because of what they've experienced, they're losing their homes, they are losing their families, and some of them are losing their lives. And that's the irony of this service. And so that's why we need to have this conversation. I mean, this coming Veterans Day, I'm not going to lie, this is a hard film. Mm-hmm. This is war. I didn't pull any punches. I didn't clean it up. I didn't, dress it up, take out all the cuss words, and remove the combat. This is a war film. But this is a conversation that we need to have as a country, and what I dislike is churches that expect, a person to clean up before they enter the halls, Mm-hmm. So whenever I was approached, I was working on this film, I got asked, well, are you going to put it in the cuss words? I'm like, well, I'm not going to clean it up for the churches and then expect them to try to do a veteran ministry and expect the veterans to say fiddlesticks.
Right.
They don't do that.
I hear that a lot.
So
in Tennessee,
if you are not prepared to deal with this film, then you're just not prepared to deal with veteran ministry. That's a reality, and we need to have that conversation and face that. But I mean, right now, there's only 27.3% of churches have any kind of veteran initiative, but we have 20 plus suicides per day in America among our veterans. And we can't lower that second number until we raise up that first number. So that's part of the reason why we're, sharing this film and trying to get it out there, is to let the church know, here is what we need. Here is this people group, a people group who are willing to fight and die for you, who some of them have fought and been severely injured for you, and they're coming home. Yeah. And the only question is, are you going to be there for them when they do?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm amazed there's 23% of the church that actually has a ministry to this. Because in all the churches I've ever been in, I've never seen any ministry to veterans.
That accounts even if they just have a little Bible study.
Really?
Yep.
So you really stretched it to get that number.
This was from a Pew poll, I think, in 2014.
Okay. Well,
yep.
A couple of years ago. So what was it that got you to join the military, and in particular be a chaplain? Because, being a chaplain isn't an easy job in the military these days either.
Yeah. When I was growing up, my dad was a drug dealer and kind of a rough guy. And he was in and out of mental wards, and he was also attempting suicide. I had done so a couple of times. And when I was 13, he successfully, did an attempt, but it only permanently brain damaged him. And so luckily I had a great mother who was a nurse, and, she was the one that we were living with, and we'd only spend part-time with him. But I remember after that attempt, I became suicidal myself. And I was 13, so I didn't know how to do it. I just knew I wanted to do it. Well, a lady from a nearby church had gotten me a Bible. And inside that Bible, she had wrote out, don't try to read this all the way through. You'll probably get lost. Just go to these scriptures first. Let's just go down this road. And she walked me through the Roman road and how to accept Christ into my heart. And so from 13 on, I just felt called that this is a path I needed to go down. And that I wanted to serve God, and I wanted to reach people. But one of the biggest guys in my life was my grandfather, who served in the Army. And I was like, I feel called to go and serve the country too. I just didn't know how I could put those two together until I realized that there was such a thing as chaplains. And that's how I was led to the chaplain corps.
Wow. That's amazing. And I'm sorry about your dad. That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, but it's weird how suicide keeps popping back up in my life. From that experience to then coming to one of the most suicidal battalions in the military. Yeah, I don't think there's these accidents. I think there's a purpose in it all. And it's just I don't think God willed any of that. But at the same time, I think that he has a plan. And I don't think that he wills for veterans to be killing themselves. I think he has a heart for them. And so I think that's what's happening now, is I think, in some way we're being used, hopefully, I hope, to bring hope and healing to people.
Yeah, I can tell you that our audience is touched. Some of them are putting up sad face with teary-eyed emoticons. And some actually I have some vets in here too who are saying that sounds powerful. It is powerful, and all that. So you guys, thanks for your support. And even people in Australia are seeing this right now, just so you know.
Oh, wow.
All over the place. So, one of the things here that is interesting to me is I read in the show notes that No Slack group. First of all, I always love military names of battalions and stuff because I don't know, because they're cool, Anyway, No Slack. Anyway, that 200 Purple Hearts were given.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. I mean, my dad has a Purple Heart from Korea, but yeah. I mean, tell us a little bit about that and maybe can you tell one or two stories about the men that were in it?
I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, like one of the guys who was just trying to text me right now is the dad of one of those soldiers. And after one of our, we were on a mission, and there was a suicide bombing. A young girl who was forced to strap on a bomb. She was sent over and exploded and killed 2 of our soldiers and wounded several others. And I came in on what's called a quick reaction force, to help patch up and help to provide care on the scene, and was praying over the wounded and dying, and we loaded them up on the choppers. But one of the soldiers who was wounded, whenever he got back to Walter Reed, he spoke with his dad, who happened to also be a Vietnam veteran named Mike Lau. And, that actually formed up a friendship for me with that Vietnam veteran, who became one of my closest friends and still is. And so when we got back and we actually started working on this film, we asked the question, like, well, what do we do now with this film? We have a movie, but how do we make a difference? And so we started working on that, just how to answer that question, because, we didn't want it just to go out to theaters and then just disappear. We wanted it to actually, have an effect on people's hearts and help veterans. And so we spent 6 months working on just that, just like this campaign. And that all started with a prayer on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's cool. It's very cool. I think you got a message on your phone, by the way.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. This is live streaming. It's okay. Okay, so I know. Okay, we got a couple of minutes. I forgot to tell you, by the way, before the interview. I should have told you this, but because this is a live streaming show and it's an hour long,
you hear every beat.
No, after we get done, all you got to do is hang up Zoom, and I'll continue.
Oh, okay.
I'll continue my show. I can't say, by the way, thank you, blah blah, all that behind the scenes, because I forgot to tell you ahead of time. Anyway, so the goal here, everybody, is to get you guys into the theater to see this. This releases November 10th, right? A couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
No Greater Love, the movie.com is the website to go to. What will people find there, and how can they help spread the word? And actually, let me ask you this. If it has a rating, would it be a rated R, you think? Because Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like, it should take precautions of that with your children, but there's some movies that you want to see that help you escape reality, and then there's some movies that you need to see. And this is one of those movies that we need to see as a country. We need to have a conversation of how we're going to come home from war. But I think more importantly, you're going to be inspired by some of these amazing individuals. I mean, guys who are willing to commit great sacrifices on our behalf and great acts of valor. These were the reason I put these into the film, is because these guys inspired me. They changed my perception of what sacrifice is and what love is. And so what I'm doing is I'm just sharing those stories with everybody else, so that way we can all learn a little bit from them. And so it's like this Veterans Day, before we say, thank you for your service, I think we need to understand that service. And this is that opportunity for us to come together. And also, at the very end of the film, we have a promotion that people are going to be able to donate to support their local veteran charities. So, this coming Veterans Day, we can donate, support, make a difference in their lives, and, hopefully make an impact. And so that's my hope, is that, by seeing this film, audiences are touched, and the process of communities having their hearts touched, we've got a chance to actually make a difference.
Yeah. Did you see the love that you're getting here?
Yeah, thank you.
This is so cool. You guys show Justin how much you love him, okay, for doing all the stuff he's doing. See, I just have to do this because...
That's awesome.
This shows, you see all those people, and there's more than just those dots down there. But those are the hearts. They're tapping the screen because,
Yeah.
So isn't that cool? No Greater Love. It's all about love here on Bible News Radio.
Yeah. So if they can go to like us on Facebook and share the trailer, we need help getting the word out, because we're not a Hollywood blockbuster. We don't have a studio behind us on this. The only thing that we have is the people who care. And so sharing the trailer, liking us on Facebook, and then come support us in theaters and help get the word out to those places where we're opening. We're opening mostly near military bases in New York and LA. So, I mean, if they come join us this Veterans Day, that'd be incredible.
Yeah. See, that would be so cool. And if you guys aren't in that area, so do you have a goal to try to expand it into different areas? I know it's hard to do that, but
it all depends on how we open. I mean, like, this is just a it's what's called a platform release. So, if we do well at these theaters, we can go to more theaters.
Yeah.
But we have to first do well at these.
Right.
And so,
and the opening weekend is the most vital, because if it sucks on the opening weekend, then they won't. Yeah. They won't do it.
Yeah.
So are you going to have it available as a DVD or anything like that in case it's not in somebody's area and they can get it later?
Yes, ma'am. It's approximately 3 months after its theatrical release. It'll release out onto DVD and Blu-ray and direct download.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kathy over in Australia.
We've got a demand also. I mean, if people want to demand the film to their location, they just go to our website, nogreaterlovemovie.com. And they can click on the demand tab, enter in their information, and we'll know where they're at. And then we're trying to. I mean, we've expanded out because of people's demands, and so we're trying to keep up with that. But this coming weekend is a test of if we can expand out further.
Yeah. Well, I hope that we help a little bit because
Yeah.
we have a lot of people like online who are in our audience who are in the military, and and I don't think anybody, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's my age, but I know a lot of people who know people in the military or who have family in the military or who had family in the military. So that's very important. And, the title, No Greater Love, obviously reminds me of, I think it's John 15.
John 15:13.
I was close. Which says, you name the
No
film.
greater love has any person than this, that they lay down their life for their friend.
Yeah. And so is there actually a gospel message in the film?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, it has religious themes, but that scripture is at the end of the film. Okay. And I mean, that's what I tried to focus on was the lessons that they were teaching me, and so I say in the film that, this is not like a sermon, but I'm just going to speak to you about what you taught me and what you showed me and how that impacted my life. And so that's what this conversation is like, how do we come home from this war? What happened in this war? And then how do we come home as a community? And so my hope is not what I didn't want to build with the film as a church. I didn't want to build a building and then have just a bunch of Christians crowd into it. What I was wanting to build was a coffee shop that we could bring everybody together and have a discussion about what's so amazing about these people, the inspirational things, the courageous things, the selfless things, and the struggles, and have a full conversation about that as a community. And so that way we can actually make a difference.
Cool. Okay, so let me ask you this then. I'm sure the military has seen it, like veterans and other soldiers have seen it. What have what have they said about it?
It's been an incredible support. I mean, we've screened it at West Point. We screened it at Fort Campbell with 101st. We screened it at Fort Polk with 10th Mountain. And so it received PAO approval and support, to get it out there. And so the Chaplain Corps has pushed it out as recommended resiliency training. They can't officially endorse any film, but sure. They did push it out as recommended resiliency training for units where this film is coming out close to. So that's been incredible, because it opens up the doors and makes it easier for those troops to be able to see it.
Very cool. I was thinking, everybody always says thank you for your service, which I actually find trite myself. I think people should say thank you for your sacrifice, because it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, and think about all the family members, caregivers, and Gold Star family members who never get thanked, but some of them have made some of the greatest sacrifices that you ever could. I would gladly die instead of letting my daughter or son die.
Yeah.
And so for those parents, my gosh, there's not a holiday for them, but there should be. And communities need to know that we appreciate them and love them too.
That's right. Yep. In fact, Jeff, who is, he's actually part of the military. Actually, he just got done saying, we should thank the whole family, which, duh. You would think that we would think that, but sometimes we're oblivious to the obvious.
Yeah.
And all that.
I don't know how or if I could have made it without my wife.
Yeah.
I mean, she is the untold hero in a lot of this. And so if anybody appreciates me, they have to appreciate her 10 times more, because I mean, she didn't just carry everything I was carrying, but also she was carrying me.
Yeah.
And powerful woman.
There you go. You picked well.
I hope she's watching this. Yeah.
Well, if she isn't, she can watch the replay.
Because
the replay is available after the show. So, and what we're going to do actually is we're going to rip the audio from here. We're going to put it up on podcast in audio form, and then we're also going to upload it to YouTube as well.
Oh, very cool.
So we'll put the YouTube video out there and all that. So, okay. So I see we got about a minute. Do you want to take any questions from anybody in the audience?
Sure.
You guys
Absolutely.
do you guys have any questions, or you have any comments for Justin Roberts, Justin D. Roberts, retired Army chaplain, and filmmaker? By the way, were you a filmmaker before this, or was this like your first thing? Because you got 11 awards.
My second master's is in media arts and communications.
Oh, okay.
And so I have some understanding and somewhat of a background with it, but this was my first film.
And yet the lighting here for this interview, Justin, I'm just gotta say,
it could have been better.
That was a joke. Okay, no, we were joking about that beforehand. Yeah. Okay, so you actually know how to make a film, so that's good.
I try.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so some people are saying thank you. I'm just waiting to see if there's any. Santa's helper came in to the show.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. Some people have interesting names on the internet. We have, hi, Santa's helper. I'm sure you're not going to hear that on some other interview. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, I don't think anybody else has any questions. Okay. Kathy, who's in Australia, said she'll be sharing this film trailer later. Liz says it would be cool if it makes it to Fort Bliss.
It's there. It's there.
Liz also says a different one says thank you for your sacrifice.
Oh, I was going to say we are at Fort Bliss.
Oh, cool. Yep.
Please come out.
Yeah, and he's going to be here in my area in Tennessee soon.
Mm-hmm. Clarksville.
And we don't want you to. Really cool. Okay. God bless this precious man. They're talking about you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, on behalf of them, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, okay. Well, and that looks like I think the audience appreciates you, just so you know. Okay.
Oh, that's very kind.
All right. Well, thank you for what you did. Because you know what? I remember hearing a long time ago in some research that film is one of the number one purveyors of cultural values in the culture.
Yes.
And because you put this into film, more people are going to know about it because they're not going to read a book about it. You know what I mean? So
yes.
So some people say about what other cities. I think you guys, if you go to nogreaterlovethemovie.com, all that info's on there, right?
Yes. Yeah. It has, just click on the theaters tab, and it has, I think we have about 24 theaters so far.
That's not bad, actually.
It's good.
Yeah. I mean, for a film that's not produced in Hollywood. Are you getting press for the movie? Well, yeah, the press this is it. Just like he's getting other. Are you? You're on. Going to be
I think we're doing Fox and Friends tomorrow or the next day. And
didn't you say CBN? You did them.
Yeah, we just did CBN today, and so that should be out, I think, on Thursday. And but we're focusing on social media.
Yeah, because social media is social media. That's why we're on here.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a conversation.
Well, I like conversations. Okay. All right. So our time is up.
Awesome. Well, I certainly do appreciate you guys. Thank you all.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope you get some sleep.
Thank you. That's probably next on the agenda.
Yeah. I'm going to follow you on your Facebook.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
They're saying no, don't leave, but he's got to leave. Sorry. I know. I don't want him to leave either. I like him.
She's kicking me out.
But
y'all can get mad at her afterwards.
We'll stay in touch.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. So everybody, Wasn't that great? Don't you love that guy? How can you not love him? I'm serious. You know, I just feel such a, what's the word? I feel a warmth of love in my heart for that guy. And I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing. I don't normally feel that way about my guests. Not that I hate my guests or anything, but there's just something sweet about him that, you know, that just honestly touches my heart. And the trailer, just the trailer to that, oh my gosh. I mean, that's just like heart-wrenching, you know. So I can't imagine watching the rest of it personally. I think for me, I would probably cry through the whole thing because I'm a wimp, just so you know. So what we're going to do here is we're going to, well, actually, yeah, I think he told me he's been running on 2 hours of sleep, so I didn't want him to have to stay for the whole show. But yeah, people called to be combat chaplains are a special breed. Definitely. I mean, for sure. You know? And you know what's really sad is that even in the military today, chaplains are under attack. Christian chaplains in particular. My friend Gordon James Klingenschmidt, who is a retired chaplain as well, from PIJN News, you know, he was the one that prayed in Jesus' name and basically lost his pension as a result of it. And it's ridiculous what Christian chaplains are going through. But that's not what this show was about. But it is important to, you know, to pray for that. Pray for the military. Pray for the chaplains. Pray for everybody involved, because we have no idea, you know. I mean, you talk about the ability to walk in other people's shoes, you know. You just, it's called a brotherhood for a reason, right? Those of you who have been there. Yeah, so yeah. And you know, and I was talking to Justin earlier too. I think part of the reason why it touches me so much is because my dad is 89 and he's a Korean War vet, and having to deal with my father in his later years, because I didn't know him in my younger years. I've only known him a couple of years. I hear my dad talk a lot about the Korean War, because he was in the Korean War, and he talks a lot about watching his buddy in the platoon get blown up in front of him because of a grenade that he walked into, and just, you know, blew him up. And my dad was in his early 20s when that took place, right? And now he's 89, and he lives there. That's post-traumatic stress, but it's also partial dementia as well. So I guess for me, being so close to that and hearing about it all the time, I look at that and I can't even begin to imagine how more horrific it is today with how the technology and all that stuff, you know, has gotten even more advanced, and chemical warfare and just other stuff. It's just, it's horrible. It is. And yet, I have to say that the Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 that there's a time for peace and there is a time for war. And so I know there's a lot of people out there who are Christians and they're pacifists and they yell, don't, no war, blah, blah, etc. But you know what? That's not even biblical. Biblically, there is a time for war. And I think going to war for righteous purposes is necessary. And I think America has actually done that. I can't speak for other countries because I'm not from another country. But, you know, one of the arguments that I hear, and I'm just going to say this, trying not to be political here, but I always hear people talk about, you know, how about that. And, yeah, I have uncles who are in Vietnam too. So, but I just lost my train of thought. Dang it. What was I going to say? Wait, hold on. It'll come back. See, that's what happens.
Were you discussing the doctrine of just war?
No.
No, okay.
It was something. Dang it. I hate that when that happens. Okay. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, that's what it was. Thanks, Phil. What I was going to say, and it's debatable, but to my knowledge, and you can correct me, somebody will, I'm sure, To my knowledge, America hasn't gone to war in order to overtake other countries to dominate it and take it as part of America. You know, Napoleon Bonaparte decided at one point in his life that he wanted to conquer the whole world and have the whole world under his control. America doesn't do that. I mean, we don't go into China or North or other countries and say, hey, you know what? Now you're an American. This is America's land. We go in there to liberate people. And is our government corrupt? Yep, you betcha. Our government is totally corrupt and immoral, ungodly, etc. I don't care that Donald Trump is in there or whoever else would be in there. Our government is corrupt. However, I will say it's still one of the better governments on the planet, at least for now, until our religious freedom is taken further away.
At least on paper.
Yeah, on paper. You know, so, you know, and I think we have a slight respite right now. I'm not going to say we have a big one, but a little one. And I do think that the media is complicit in creating division. I think that is a big, huge issue, which is why I want to change the subject. Because you know what today is, right? How many of you guys know today is Billy Graham's birthday? You know, the Reverend Billy Graham, that guy, Franklin Graham's dad. He's 99 years old today. 99, man. Billy Graham. And actually, I was telling Justin this too, right before the show. He's 99 years old today. And what's interesting about Billy Graham is that I've never been a fan. Don't hate me for saying that, but I've actually never been a fan of Billy Graham. And it's not because I hate him or anything. I know who he is, but like I was telling Justin before the show, because he really likes and respects Billy Graham. The reason I have never been a fan of him is because I'm not in his generation. My dad is 89, and my dad loves Billy Graham. He thinks Billy Graham is the greatest thing in the world. I mean, he really does. But what's interesting is that one thing I can say about Billy Graham as a younger person, not really having followed him because he's 50 years older than me, right? Is that right? He's 99. I'm 49. Yeah. He's 50 years older than me. Oh my gosh. Billy Graham's 50 years older than I am. Anyway, so I've never been a fan of Billy Graham because he's 50 years older than me. He's totally not even my generation. But what I can say about Billy Graham is that he is a man of integrity. And I don't idolize him by any stretch. I know a lot of stuff. You know, if you look at his children, Anne Graham Lotz, Ruth Graham Bell, I think is her name, Franklin Graham, they all have their stories, right? There's divorce in their stories. There's waywardness in their stories. There's the fact that Billy Graham's late wife, Ruth, had to take care of those kids all by herself because Billy was out, you know, preaching the gospel all over the world without her. You know, it wasn't the perfect upbringing for those kids, and they had to deal with their issues. So I'm just saying that, you know, he's an American icon. And I think the thing that makes Billy Graham so interesting to a lot of people is because he was considered like America's pastor for the longest time, and now it's other people. But anyway, I don't know, Bareface, what you think, but yeah, that is Grover barking, just saying. He's on the beat. What do you think of Billy Graham? Should we say happy birthday? And actually, I've met Anne Graham Lotz. I've actually got a picture of myself with her, met her at a conference one time. And I found her to be very stiff and very, very odd, actually, to be honest. I don't mean that in a mean way, but just uncomfortable, I think, is how she felt. She seemed, anyway. And I know we got to thank our sponsor, too. So you want to do that? You can do that.
Yeah, I can do that. Be happy to do that. And I'll just say that I was, been to a Billy Graham crusade back in the 80s, and trying to think, I was helping out with that in some regard. I don't remember.
Is that Heidi in there? Oh, no, it's not. Okay.
I was a field counselor at a Harvest Crusade.
Wait, Teresa, is that Heidi your dog, Teresa? That looks like Heidi. Oh, wait, never mind. Ignore me. Sorry.
All right. Did Stacy just say something? I don't know. But let me tell you about Ariel Ministries. You can find them online at ariel.org. Ariel Ministries sponsors this program in part, and they are a wonderful ministry that we've had a relationship with for a couple decades at least, and they are founded by Dr. Arnold Fruchtenbaum, a Messianic Jew. They reach out to evangelize Jews as well as to disciple Jewish and Gentile believers in Yeshua, the Jewish Messiah. Wonderful resources from a Messianic Jewish perspective, i.e. a biblical one. And lots of resources available for free, but you can also purchase some things, and when you do, use the coupon code Bible News, and you'll save 20% on anything at any time. Right now, they are currently promoting the Life of Messiah from a Messianic Jewish perspective, abridged volume, coupled together with Ariel's Harmony of the Gospels. On their site, the bundle, you can get it for 15% off when purchasing together. But be a smart shopper, I can say it, be a smart shopper and save 20% instead when you use the coupon code Bible News. Put both of those things into your shopping cart and then use Bible News coupon code, and you'll save 20%, much better than saving 15%. We are very thankful for not only Ariel as our sponsors, but individuals who help support us. We call them pillars of our community, and you can become a Bible News Radio pillar by committing to donate $25 or more per month, and that's an amount that our pillars set. Not something we set. They said was a reasonable amount to do. And if you do that, then you are privileged to receive. I'm sorry that I'm not. I'm going back and forth. I'm setting up scenes and trying to talk at the same time. I'm not a good multitasker.
Yes, you are.
Anyway, so well, thank you. That being a pillar gives you access to some behind the scenes stuff in our secret Facebook group, and extra, interview footage and other things that we make available to our pillars, not available to the general community. You can become a pillar, or if you just want to give one time, go to BibleNewsRadio.com/give, and you'll find the details on how to do that there. We're currently reworking our website, and it's going to be
it's
better, just so you know.
And it's my fault that it's not getting worked on fast enough, because poor Greg Harvey has had to deal with me not providing him the info he's requested. So you should pray for Greg. Poor guy.
And for you to give him the information that he needs.
Well, I don't have it. That's like, anyway. Well, thank you, Phil. And I appreciate all you guys coming in. I really do. Let's see here. Melanie is here, our #1 super fan. Liz, Randall, Kathy, Phil, Stephen, Mia, our #2 super fan, and Jeff, I think you're our #3 super fan. And I think that other person is a bot. It's so weird. The bots have come out. Ooh, is that like predicting our future? Okay, let me tell you tomorrow. Hold on a second. I got to pull this up so I can show it to you. Or I can say it correctly, because I want to let you guys know who's coming on tomorrow. This is going to be a super cool show tomorrow. Let's see here. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Why is that not coming up? Okay, maybe it's under his other name. Okay, wait, hold on. The yeast syndrome. No, that's not what this is about. Really? That's so weird. Okay, wait, hold on. I gotta Google this. I should have did this before the show, people. But I didn't. And of course, Google's taking forever to flip the page.
I don't know. The yeast syndrome sounds like an interesting subject.
Okay.
Something that could grow on you anyway.
Okay, here it is. Listen to this.
Right.
Speaking of the military.
Right.
All right, so tomorrow my guest is John Wesley Yost. He actually goes by Jack, just so you know, though. And he's written a book called The Memo, How the Classified Military Document That Helped the U.S. Win World War II Can Help You Succeed in Business. Now, you're probably going, really, Stacy? Really? Well, let me tell you, I'm going to read this to you just so you can hear what this is about, because this is very interesting. It says here, the memo reveals how to succeed in business using the covert World War II strategy that ultimately led to the Allied victory. Much is known about how the atomic bomb, is that right?
Either one.
Okay.
Some
Bomb.
refer to as atom bomb, some atomic bomb.
Well, it says atomic. However you say that.
Atomic.
Atomic. Okay. All right. I have a master's degree. It doesn't mean I can read. Okay. Much is known about how the atomic bomb helped the United States achieve final victory in World War II. However, little is known about a weapon that was perhaps even more powerful. A memo. Classified as, quote, restricted, unquote, by the U.S. War Department, the memo contained a management doctrine under the subject of completed staff work. This memo turned military command structure on its head and focused on the power of staff instead of their commanders. Simply put, instead of relying on senior leaders to think up solutions and then order staff officers to implement them, aides would be charged with presenting fully developed solutions which command could approve. Now declassified, the memo holds valuable lessons that will help anyone advance in his or her career. The memo emphasizes leadership and followership and shows aspiring employees how to advance by employing the power of teamwork to make their leaders successful. I get a lot of people who actually request interviews on our show, and this one came out of the blue to me. I was so surprised and totally honored, just so you know. Jack Yost Jr. is the husband of Charmaine Yost, who currently serves in the Trump administration. Charmaine used to actually be the head of Americans United for Life. And her mom, Dr. Janice Krause, actually served in the Bush administration senior in the 80s. And Janice was also worked for Concerned Women for America, and she's been on our show a couple of times. And she's an amazing lady too. So anyway, I just share all this to let you know that this family they're genuine Washington insiders. And so when Jack actually messaged me and said, "Hey, I have this book out. I want to send you a copy of it." And then of course I invited him on the show because hello. I definitely wanted to get him on because, I love this family. Randall and I actually had the opportunity to meet him and Charmaine a number of years ago. They have 5 children that are awesome children. I mean, they're smart. His son, John.
Smart and very polite. And,
polite. And
well-dressed.
Well-dressed. I mean, they're amazing. I mean, this is like the model family.
The family.
Yeah,
no, just kidding.
Their oldest is now in the military. He serves in the military. John Jr., I guess.
Or the third.
Yeah, I guess he would be the third. Anyway, so anyway, tomorrow's just, if you don't know who he is, just trust me, this is a treat, really. Joel Comm should interview this guy, I think. I should tell him. Maybe he will. You never know. Anyway, they're a very devout Christian family, and the memo, if I send you the copy of the book cover, will you put it up?
Or I can find it myself, I'm sure.
Okay. It's called The Memo. Yeah. How the classified military document that helped the U.S. win World War II can help you succeed in business. And it's weird, you guys. I didn't even plan this. I mean, I obviously planned it, but I didn't plan it, actually. My interview tonight was actually booked last week, but it wasn't confirmed until like 3 o'clock this afternoon, so I didn't even know the guy was coming on my show until like 2 hours ago. So, anyway. And then after that, just so you know, Thursday and Friday, we will talk about some of the news. And I know this church shooting, there's been a lot that has come out in the news about it. And, this opens up a whole other big, huge discussion, you know, about mental health, domestic violence, etc. And all that. So I don't know. So what do you guys want to talk about for the next 5 minutes? Because we have 5 minutes left of our show, approximately, give or take. So tell me what you think. I don't mind hearing from you people. People.
Do you want me to just overlay the book cover over you, or?
Yeah, or you could just show it on the screen without me. I need a haircut. You know that? That's what I need. I need to get a haircut. Today was great. Good. You're dressed for Cincinnati's Bengals Bengals game. Power to the people. That's right, people. You know what? I have to be honest. This outfit I did not pick on my own. There you go. See, that's the book we're going to talk about tomorrow. You need to trim around. Yeah, okay. We need to smack you. Should have asked him the fridge magnet question. You know, actually, I could have probably gotten away with it, but I really didn't want to take away from the seriousness of the topic. That's the only reason I didn't. Yeah. No, actually, I didn't pick this outfit, but thank you for saying you like it, because I didn't pick it. I honestly would never... This color, I don't like this color, actually. It's not one of my favorite, but somebody told me it looked good on me, so I thought, well, what the heck. Well, thank you. So I appreciate that. Okay. You notice how we never talk about Randall's outfit? Tell the foot joke. Randall will kill me if I do that. You think it's... Yeah. The color does look good on me. I agree. It's just that I'm not really a big fan of the color. But I went to a lady who is a woman who knows how to dress people. So she dressed me. Just so you know. And I heard Cynthia's scope this morning, you know, dress the part, blah, blah. I was like, oh, yeah. I mean, I usually dress the part anyway, but, you know, just saying. Randall's wearing the Duke.
Hey, smart.
Duke. The Bengals kind of ruined that combination. See, I don't even... Is that a football team?
The Cincinnati Bengals, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's Cincinnati? Okay, I didn't even know that.
And
I'm usually up on sports, too.
Unless they move to another city. I know they do. I mean, the Rams are back in L.A. now, right? I mean, because they were in L.A. and then they went to St. Louis, and then I think they're back in L.A. So as far as I know, the Bengals are still out of Cincinnati. So, yeah, yes, here in Cincinnati, says Pilot Phil. So, as in Bengal Tigers. So, yes.
How many of you guys are in Ohio? Seems like we got quite a few people in Ohio here. We should do a meetup in Ohio.
Yeah, it seems like that's
seriously,
where all of our peeps are.
Yeah, okay, so, you know what? I'm serious about that. We should do a meetup in Ohio. If you guys pay our way out there and then put us up in a hotel to meet up with us, I would do it.
And send a limousine for us. And
you're going to be in Nashville. Yeah, we want a limousine.
Oh, who's going to be in Nashville soon?
Jeff is.
Oh, cool.
Well, hey, when you're here, duh, hello, you're going to come and meet us.
Come back to Australia. Would love to, Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Well, how far is it to drive to Ohio from here?
It's a long day trip.
Is it shorter than Oklahoma?
No.
Oh.
Well, no, yeah, it's about the same, I think.
That's a long day. I don't want to do that again. If I don't have to, we can fly. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, depending where in Ohio. I mean, if it's like Michigan, you know, kind of border, then it's a little further. But
yeah, it's just so weird that we
in
got
a
all
case,
these Ohio
it can be done in a day for sure.
It's not fair. I have friends in Nashville. Oh, okay. Mia's saying it's 9 hours.
Yeah, she's done it. So
okay.
Yeah, an afternoon. Yeah,
well, if you're going to be in our area. By the way, let me tell you this too. I should say this too before I forget, because you know I will. If you're ever in our area, near the Nashville area, let us know. And of course, we'll try to meet up with you if we can. Duh. Hello. The other thing I should tell you too is that if you guys, not that you would, but in the event that you ever want me to speak at your church or to a women's group or something, I am more than willing to do a video conference, you know, with a group of people do a, we do on video how I get my guests. I'm willing to do that. And then, of course, if you want coaching, don't forget I do that too. Feel free to let me know about that too, because that's part of our Unstuck Club too. As a way, as an arm of Bible News Radio, is to educate, encourage, and exhort people to walk in their faith, right? I mean, seriously. And if you ever want Bareface to speak, or you ever want me and Bareface to speak together, then let us know.
Brave.
Yeah. Randall's a great speaker. You guys have no idea how great he is. When he gets behind a lectern, notice I didn't say podium because he gave me a lecture about it one day. When we were in California, I got this longest lecture about how a podium is a podium and not a lectern and blah, 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 blah. And having been married for 25 years to this guy, I decided not to tease him about it because,
Good. It's a common misnomer. I hear so many people wrongly identify a lectern as a podium.
Yes, and I didn't.
I appreciate that. That's great.
I learned from you, oh great one. Anyway, just saying, if you ever want Bareface and actually not I, that's incorrect. You want us to come and do something with you guys, let us know. You'll have to help pay for it because we're not made of money. But hey, it'll be okay, It'll be fun to meet you or whatever. And we're serious too. We are totally serious. You know why? Because God told us to be missionaries.
Melanie's asking what the difference is between a lectern and a podium.
Okay, give the lecture, Professor Harp.
A podium is something you stand upon. It's a platform, like podiatrist, doctor for your feet. Podium, it comes from the Latin, podium.
You asked for it, Melanie.
Anyway, it's a platform which you stand upon to raise you up. A podium is, for addressing an audience. Get up on your soapbox would be a makeshift podium, and a lectern is a standing object on which to place papers or books or whatever, and usually has a shelf.
Right.
Something that one would stand behind is a lectern, like a professor would teach from, or actually really most churches today, the pastor stands behind a lectern. And
can you have a lectern on a podium?
Yes, you can.
I know you're only asking that to be a smarty pants, but yes, of course.
Certainly can have a lectern. That's very effective to put a lectern on a podium so people can see you better and hear you more clearly if you're above the crowd.
Which leads to this.
Unless, of course, it's like amphitheater type seating, and then just a lectern is fine. I wouldn't put on a podium because...
Okay, so my question then, in your church, how many of you have noticed that church, like some pastors no longer use a lectern. Some pastors just use a stool or they walk the whole time, right? They'll walk around with their Bible. But have you noticed the fancy schmancy ones where they actually have, like, that you can put your Bible on it?
And has a cup holder.
It's clear. There's cup holders and all that. Are we like... I don't even know what the word is. Weird or what? I don't know what that means. But there's a peace sign, so that's good. I have.
It's Russian. I think it means please.
Please?
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
You know
what I should do is go into Full Scope afterwards, take all the foreign stuff, put it into Babbel Talk or whatever that's called.
Or even Google Translate.
Yeah, and then translate it, see what people are actually saying in foreign language.
Yeah, that's kind of my list of languages to learn.
You can't find a good church?
Rus.
Well, I can tell you, Pilot Phil, that what's really weird about us is that we didn't even go church shopping.
Not recently.
My dad wanted to go to a Baptist church, so I was like, okay, where's the closest Baptist church? So I brought him to the Baptist church where we live, and it turned out it's actually a good church.
Yeah, I think what's really nice is that a lot of church have websites these days, and if they have sermons on there, before even showing up there, you can listen and see.
Do you remember when I did that campaign?
Yeah, well, we did. We Stacy and I were church shopping years ago.
Years ago. This was so
like
long.
20 years ago.
20 years ago. This is so funny.
And so not many churches had websites then, but we would visit this church, visit that church, and it was
a waste of our time.
And so Stacy gets a bright idea. She says, well, let's just write to these churches we're thinking, ask them to send us a sermon on cassette, which they did.
True story.
And it was a real time saver because sadly, most of them were, here's about this newspaper article, this magazine article, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, here's a scripture. Make it official. And, kind of throw it on the top there, to sort of sanction it as a sermon.
That was practicality. And I was honestly surprised at how many pastors sent me a cassette of their sermon and how many we were like, nope, that's not going. We're not going there. Seeing all that. I don't remember how many I got, but I got a lot. So now,
websites, yeah, that's great. If they have the sermons on there, because I believe, other things are great. Worship you like, fellowships is good, whatever. But if the scriptures, but it's not a Bible-based church, if they don't make much of Christ and much of the scriptures, then it's only going to be so healthy. So, Stacy probably has them. This box is out in the garage with all sorts of cassettes and stuff in them. So,
you know what I would say?
He doesn't toss his stuff out. So,
Pilot Phil, I would say, have you tried looking into a Messianic congregation? Because it's been my experience that Messianic congregations, the pastors, rabbi, or whatever you want to call them, are generally way more knowledgeable than the average pastor.
True.
They are, and you might want to meet on a Saturday, but whatever, that's okay. Who cares? God doesn't care. I know that's a debate, but and the other thing too, I would say is Randall and I, when we moved to Tennessee, we thought that we were going to plant a church. Yeah, right. Me, a pastor's wife. Okay. First lady. Yeah, right. First pain in the butt would be what I would be.
To whom?
I don't know. Maybe a couple people.
I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, what has been interesting to me and Randall has been that that Randall's a teacher. I mean, he's called to be a Bible teacher. That's pretty clear to anybody, who knows him or hears him. And so that's why I encourage him on here to do the Daily Disciple and all that.
Well, I should have done one today.
Yeah, because I think that there's a need here. And the very fact, people always ask me, well, who's your audience? And I always say, this is what I always say. I always say the people who are my audience are usually, they come from 2 or 3 different backgrounds. Number one, they've been really hurt in church and they don't want to go back. Number two, they can't find a biblical church. And so they find somebody that can actually teach the scripture the way it's intended to. And that, kind of falls into the category here. Or number 3, you just have super good taste in people and, just saying. Anyway. Yep. And yep. There you go. See? And it's that whole thing, likeness attracts likeness, right? Or
all the above, thanks, Kathy.
Yeah. Well, no, so did Jeff. Jeff said that too.
Yep.
So
I know.
Yeah. So, and actually part of the reason I'm doing the Unstuck Club and the other Bible stuff I'm doing too is
I didn't mention those.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, part of the reason I'm doing the Unstuck Club is because a lot of people are stuck because they've been hurt in the church and other things, and I want to encourage that. And then and that's free, you guys. So join it. Okay. And then my other class that I work really hard on is called Stop Lying to Yourself. And that one really is kind of a really in-depth look at David, but at you, because part of growth is examining yourself, and that's biblical. Not becoming so self-absorbed that you can't help other people, but, just growing in your faith. So if you like what we do here for free every day, then you can get more free stuff by going to the Unstuck Club, and also $29 for the other thing, which will actually help feed me and Bearface. And Tuggy Bear, who we just ended up having to drop more money on. Ugh, the vet bills are not ending, people. And Grover and Gideon. So there's 5 mouths to feed in this house. So And they're little mouths compared to ours. But how does Bareface feel about marijuana? Do you want to tell Tadpole's Glory?
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
I don't understand that name, but yeah.
Started smoking it when I was 13. Stopped smoking it when I was like 21, I guess. And
see, I was smart enough to never start.
Yeah. Didn't have to stop because you never
I've never
started.
done drugs.
You know, there are some medicinal benefits. Those have been recorded in some cases, but I think the health detriments outweigh the health benefits. And I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, and I'm not going to get into all the research. There's plenty out there on the web to read. But
legitimate research.
But it's legitimate research. I mean, face it. At the end of the day, it's a what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, it affects your judgment and your motor skills. It's a intoxicant, I guess, for lack of a better word. And you know, at the end of the day, you know, I wouldn't trust somebody on the road or my coworker or somebody else, you know, if they're smoking at lunchtime or anything like that, you know, because their judgment and you know, motor skills are greatly inhibited, and it's just long term it's detrimental to one's health, brain cells to start, but lungs, circulation, other things. Anyway, read the legitimate research. I'm not a fan of it. If it's, you know, I think there are better. He
says I'm verbose.
I think there are better alternatives for the purported health benefits for like glaucoma and stuff like that. I think there's better things you can do to your body than I think most people are just. If you had a medical condition, I think there are better choices. You know, talk to your physician. I think the people that go for it, they say, "Oh, it's natural," and it probably did help your medical condition, like I say. But there are just like any drugs.
Yeah.
There are side effects. Even, you know, whatever it takes. You know, even the prescription synthetics. You know, here are all the side effects: can cause death, nausea, blah blah blah, diarrhea, whatever. You know, it goes to the and even the natural stuff. Still smoking is legal. That's between you and God, and you and your government. But yeah, the side effects, I think, outweigh any benefit from it.
I think they're troll. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
They're not serious.
Yeah.
Shh.
Anyway.
Okay. Stop feeding the trolls.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right.
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
Yes, dear.
All right.
Okay.
Where were you going?
Huh? Our show is over.
I know.
Remember that. Okay. Melanie asked how Tuggy Bear is. Give the medical update.
All right.
Because, you know, hey, do you have a picture of Tuggy Bear?
Not handy.
Really? You can post the one? Okay, well.
Well,
if you go to Instagram, you can pull up my Instagram account. You can show the picture, the cute picture of you and Tuggy Bear holding Tuggy Bear in your arms because you love him so much.
Yeah. Anyway, I took him in this morning for follow-up because of his oft urination in the house. Anyway, and then because some peeling, skin peeling that area. Anyway, the surgical site. Anyway, so they did a urinalysis, and there's although his pH level is good in his urine, there's way more bacteria than they would like to see. So he's still got some sort of infection. So they prescribed another antibiotic, a third kind.
Has he thrown up yet?
No,
that's good.
Yeah, so that's good.
Randall says to me, I'm going to give him the third antibiotic, and if he throws up, we'll have to let the vet know. And I'm like, what do you mean if he throws up?
Because the first two didn't get it, so the amoxicillin or the
poor little Tuggy Bear.
I forget. Bay Trail is like the brand name. Anyway, so there's a third one. They said, well, let's try this. Even though the doctor recommended sending out his urine for a culture and sort of finding the best antibiotic for it, that was a pricier alternative. And I said, let's just try the third one and see what happens. And so this is where and I mentioned that I said I spent more on this dog's health care in the past 3 years than I spent in my own in the last 10. But
it's your baby.
Yeah, we love him. We took him in. We rescued him, so it's our responsibility to look after his welfare.
But when those big brown eyes look at you, they melt your heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Did you guys see Larissa's scope this morning? She did a whole scope with her bulldogs.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to maybe go back and watch it.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm actually really hot, just so you know. So you have no idea how hot it is in this room.
It's warm. We do love our pets for sure.
Okay. All right, Christopher. Enough of your silliness there. I didn't kick you out, but don't press your luck. Okay, so I want to say thank you guys for coming in. Really, don't forget the movie, NoGreaterLoveMovie.com. Go there, check it out. And tomorrow, please come back and join us again. And if you guys would pray for my left hip, HIP, my left hip, I would really appreciate it. I don't know what I did to it, but for the last couple of weeks, it's been super sore. And it just hurts. And I did the treadmill today and did 10,000 steps and stuff and play pickleball and everything. And it doesn't hurt a lot when I exercise, but like when I get up after the show, when I get up, it's going to hurt because it's like, I don't know what's wrong with it. Randall thinks it's just a tight muscle, but it could be. But anyway, we'll check it out. All right. Okay. All right. Good. And thanks for all the hearts, you guys. You touch my heart when you give hearts. So, speaking of hearts, okay, on Friday, I'm going to put this down. On Friday, we're going to do a 11 million heart gift card giveaway. Okay? It will be for an $11 gift card from Amazon. How's that? Okay? Because I'm super generous. So be sure to enter that later. Okay. All right. So we're out of here. Thank you again. You guys are awesome. In the little A sort of way. Not in the big A sort of way. Only God is the big awesome way. You're a little awesome, just so you know. Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. Wait. Be bold. Stand up and go with God because he loves you. There you go.